Many of you are here because you've been struggling trying to get a business going, maybe even struggling in life with the crisis going on around us today. And I just want you to know that I'm here for you any way you need me. I'll sit down and talk with you in my virtual office to help. And I just want to let you know that your struggle is over. I'm here to give you the steps you need to take to start moving in the right direction and get out of your stuck position and get you started making money every month, and you can live comfortably as that income grows, and we call it a cash flow. And so I want to start the meeting off with this song. Your struggle is over. I'm Joanna Wright. I'm a real estate investor, and I'm also a trader. And I buy assets to um, make my money work for me so that I don't have to work. My focus is mainly on finding another avenue for my another $100 bill to go into a investment account that will earn me an income without me having to labor for my cash flow. And cash flow can be from rental properties, or it can be from investing in a company and becoming a partial owner in that company. And we'll go into detail more about what investing is later. But I wanted to start out this group session. I've been thinking about the pastors of churches. So many of them think all there is to talk about in their preaching is salvation. They see the importance of winning people to Christ, but they have no idea what to do. What they're supposed to do with those people after they get them saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. They got a life to live, and and they're supposed to be making disciples. So Jesus didn't just say, "Come follow me," and that was it. He give us tips on living life and uh, wisdom in making decisions and everything for life, even business. And that's what I'm here for, to do as Jesus has done. I examine what Jesus did to give us guidance for life and apply that in our business life and our financial life. Um, we were born, but nobody gave us a manual for life except for the Word. I consider the Word of God as my manual for life, but um, we don't have a step by step guide on how to create our own business and uh, to figure out a way to make money without having to depend on going to work for others. And I noticed I talked to a lot of people who would like to start their own business but don't have a clue how to make that first step toward doing that. And that's what I want to be here for, is to help you to establish your first business. And I'm going to teach you every single thing that needs to be done to make that a successful business. And then once we get that business successful and off and running, we're going to have an automated system that does most of the work for us. Of course, the human side, we're going to always have to be talking to people. There's no getting around that. We do have a voice drop that saves a lot of that time, but even after running people through the system to get an email, get a text message, get a voice drop, um, there's still going to have to be some human interaction. But once we get that business fully established where it's running itself, then that frees up our time to focus on a new asset, a new decision in our finances, and to do some research to determine if it's a good decision or a bad decision. And if there's any problems, find solutions. And, so we're working on a new asset to invest another $100 in. And so we we got to have somebody to lead us, and it's one thing that's it's emphasized a lot in the people that are teaching online. I noticed they say over and over again, you need a good mentor. You need a good mentor. Well, yes, you need somebody that's done that and already succeeding and follow in their footsteps. But everybody I talk to wants to sell me their knowledge, and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to sell you what God gave me freely. He gave it to me freely. I did, whenever I started out, I didn't have money. I was poor. I lived in the woods for a little while, and before that, I was barely keeping my rent paid every month to have a place over my head. And when my vehicle broke down, I was have to go around to family members and see if I couldn't borrow money that I couldn't pay back later, to get it fixed. So it was a bad situation. I had no money, and I just I realized that I got to find a way. If I'm going to be in business for myself, I got to find a way to do it for free. And I found that there is so many free resources out there, and I want to be the free mentor available to you and not sell myself to you. I want to give myself freely. And I believe that the reason God has had me do that is because His word says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men give unto your bosom." So many times when I get things in the email all the time. Oh, I can do this. You need a good mentor. That's an investment. You need to spend money and in on your education, um, and that leaves the poor people out. That's why it took me so many years to get where I'm at now, is because I couldn't afford those mentors. And whenever I went to I got this thing in the mail. Only reason I went is because Robert Kiyosaki, what I don't know how to say his name. He wrote a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I adore him. I've read just about everything that he has to offer, and so I went to this real estate free seminar. It was a 1 day, 6 hours, I think. And again, I sit there so sad. One more person wants to sell me their knowledge to be my mentor, and I sit here broke. I don't have nothing. I got my rent, and that was all. Well, before the end of the day, after they felt bad for me because I was really in tears, really feeling bad because every one of these, this is about the fourth free seminar that I went to, that they brought me here for free just to sell me an inexpensive training course, and that puts the poor people out. And I refused to leave. My faith was, God wants me to do this. I know I'm supposed to be in real estate. I know that I'm supposed to be building homes for the homeless. I know that I'm supposed to be a landlord. And, I'm not, I just refused to go home. And I tried convincing my son to, give me the money and make the payments for me until my business was established. And He simply refused. He believed that in order to do it, you just need to get out there, make your mistakes, and learn from your mistakes. And he was right. You just need to do it. There's nothing but to do it. That's pretty much what he was telling me. Um, because that's the way he did. He didn't go to a class. Somebody told him that they were making money in real estate, and he went out and bought him a condo at the beach. And that's how he started out. And now he's got many houses that he's fixed up and renting out, and he has tremendous cash flow. And he simply refused to buy that course for me. He thought that I ought to do it for free. I ought to figure this out on my own. He always tell me, it's in you exactly the same thing that's in me. You can do it. He just kept telling me, you can do it. And so um, with by my faith and my encouragement from my son, I hung in there. And that day I refused to leave until God showed me a way to get that next step, the 3-day seminar. And so they felt sorry for me, and they come down to $300, and that's all I had was $300. And I gave up my rent. I sacrificed my rent and didn't have the money to pay next month, but God provided, got all that worked out. And I'm so glad I did. But I don't want you to have to do that. So I give freely. My knowledge, everything that God has led me to learn about, everything that I've done, I'm going to teach you. And everything that I've done in real estate can be applied to any business. So if you don't really care about real estate, that doesn't appeal to you, and you have some ideas you just love to find a way to get them going, I'm here for you guys too. I've been in online businesses for um, probably 30 years now or more. And so anything that I've applied, I've took the knowledge that I learned from other online businesses. Did affiliate marketing for ClickBanks is how I started out, because it was free. And I learned so much in marketing and how to get the word out and build my list and everything through that. And so what I learned in that, I applied in real estate, which made my real estate company just blow up. Now, before I finished that 3-day class, I ran into a landlord, as a lady, and she was up in age and was deciding that she's ready to sell out and get her house in order, because she's not going to live that much longer, and she don't want this on her family when she dies and all this. So she was willing to give me a good price on 15 houses for $100,000. And so I wrote the contract up, and because I was new, I didn't know anybody that wanted to buy, so I didn't buy, and she got mad at me. It was left a bad relationship. But I made that step. I did it. And so you do it. It's nothing but to do it. Just do what I tell you to do, and stay focused on the task that I give you in each training until you accomplish it. And then you move on to the next training and the next training, so that you don't get the information overload that I got from learning. And I had to figure out how to get organized, which we're going to be covering that too. But I just wanted to share that. I want to disciple you and send you out like Jesus did to disciple others, um, to do the training and mentor and give it away for free. And at the same time, I'd like to insert here, uh, be my disciple and help me get the word out about this group. Go tell somebody. Go out and tell somebody that this lady, Joanna Wright, is willing to train for free and be your mentor. And she's not like the other guys, wanting to sell her knowledge. And, get people in this group. Let's build this group up. And the more people that we have here, the more I think always said, you know, two minds is better than one. Well, if we got, you know, like a thousand people in here and they're all learning and sharing what they're learning, then we all can learn from each other. Um, you know, it's a great thing. And so go tell somebody. And the Lord told me that I'm going to be famous. So, and I'm going to be on TV and radio. So go out to the radio station and the TV station, the news group, and tell them you need to go interview this person, you know, for a press release. There's something new going on over here that you guys need to get the word out, you know, whatever. Just I'm just throwing some ideas out there of ways that that could happen. I never planned it that way, but that's the way it can happen. I seen that. I just had to say it. So, but I seen it in my mind. That's what I meant when I seen it. So that was probably the Lord just showing me how that could come about. But anyways, so go tell somebody and get some more people in the group this week also as you get your other assignments as we go through this training today. So here we go. But see my kitty. She had to get up here and get some loving. She has a way of knowing how to get her loving when Joanna gets too busy. But anyways, so back to my visions during so-called breakdown. My family had me committed in a mental institution because when I felt like God was communicating with me, they were accusing me of hearing voices, but it was one voice. And but back then, I was thinking back, you know, one day in this vision, because nothing felt normal, nothing looked normal. I looked around in the room and I felt like, oh, this has got to be heaven. Everything looks so clean, you know, looked like somebody come through and dusted everything down so purely and clean. The pictures were exactly aligned and just everything seemed so perfect. And yet I was still in that same house that I was living in at that time. And so I was during I was getting the windows of heaven poured out on me. That was information overload, and I experience this all the time when I'm trying to do things on the internet and on the computer. It just seems to overwhelm me mentally because so many things will come in to take my focus away from something that I'm working on. I may be working on a training video like I am right now, and something will distract me. I'll start the video. I've got so many archives that I've just filed away in a folder, and I'll be getting back to those because it's going to be good training in this group. But and I'm going to show you that because that's falling under the training of time management. And I'm going to be creating a video about that, and I'm going to create a training video about being a survivalist in your present condition. Think of yourself living in a tent, and this way you can start saving money and having more money that's being wasted on things that are not necessary and put that over in an investment. If you can free up $100 over here, then you can put it over here where that $100 can with Bitcoin, I put $100 on it, and the next day I had another 100, so I had 200. So I mean, there's no way you can do that in working for yourself as a job just over broke, because whenever you're trading your time for money, which is what you're doing when you work for somebody else, you're only one person. You can only put so much money, I mean so much time in it for money. And once you exhausted your time, there's no more you can do. So it limits your money, what you can bring in, the income. And when you free up your time working for somebody else, you have time to focus on creating another asset that you're going to put another $100 on, or you're going to create another business or a dream or an idea or a goal you've set in life, and be working on that instead of making somebody else rich on a job, just over broke. But let me finish my vision. I was getting the windows of heaven, was pouring out on me. And I can remember sitting at the computer, and for some reason it went out, and I had to get a computer guy to fix it and bring it back to life. And um, before that happened, I had a vision of the screen black. It was like there was a nuclear blast, and all the people were wiped off the earth. And I'm saying, is anybody out there? Is anybody out there? And this black screen, the cursor's flashing, black screen. And I would type, is anybody out there? Is anybody out there? And finally, somebody typed back, and that was when I got my first chat back from somebody in my text message on, but it was on the computer instead of my cell phone, because I was able to set up voice.google.com and start texting people on my computer instead of my phone. So the Lord led me that way to get me organized, to get everything from my cell phone over to my computer. And I'm going to be sharing all of that too. I've got several devices that manages all of my communications on the computer. But um, I talked to you about the vision. All the windows of heaven were giving me so many ideas that I had information overload. And I just laid down. Every time I lay down on the bed to try to go to sleep, I just could not sleep, and I felt like I had to have that notepad beside the bed in case I get another idea. So I was always writing down things. I felt like if I could write it down, I could put it off of my mind until I had the time to dedicate to that one idea or whatever it was the Lord was showing me at the moment. It was just my way of organizing and trying to stop this confusion that was coming on me from so many ideas coming to me at one time. I say, Lord, I'm human. I can't comprehend all of this. Please slow down. You're just, you're driving me crazy. I told him, I said, Lord, you're driving me crazy. And then, I had the vision of being famous, and I'm saying, Lord, I don't really care that much about being famous and being on TV and all that stuff. But if that's the way you want me to go, I'm willing to do that. And, I had such a love for the homeless. Everything God teaches me, even back then in that vision, I say, Lord, I want to teach the homeless. There's this big gap between the rich and the poor. There's got to be a way to close the gap where that the poor can step over in the realm of getting rich. And because I trusted God from what he was showing me to the present, I never gave up on that thought. I never gave up on that vision. I went into the future. I believed it was true. I believed it was so. I believed God called me to help the poor become rich. Now I was poor and become rich, and now I want to share how God got me here with the poor and you. Even though you don't consider yourself poor, you are poor because you don't know the things I'm going to teach you. And when I refer to poor people, it's because you're poor because you're not practicing or taking action to do the things that I'm going to be teaching you. You've got to have action. If you've got an idea or a dream or a calling, You feel like God's called you for a purpose, but you never actually do it, or even one little tidbit of something toward that goal, it's never going to happen. And the reason we never take action is because we really don't believe God has called us to do that. We really don't believe it's a reality. We don't really believe it's possible. But see, that's the lie from the enemy. He messes with our mind. He causes confusion to come in our mind. Joyce, Beth, what is her name? Joyce. She's got a book out that I read. A friend of mine, Kenneth McLaughlin. He gave me that book. I think it was after my second so-called breakdown, but it was visions of the Lord now, what I realized. But her book, I can't remember her name. Joyce Myers, there you go. Wrote a book called Battlefield of Mind. It's a good one that you should read. Battlefield of the Mind. Buy that book. I read it until the pages started falling out. Battlefield of the Mind. There's a battle going on between this ear and this ear, and it keeps us distracted and takes us off on a path that is not God's path. The main thing is, there is a path we're supposed to be on to get to the riches and life that Jesus has provided for us, because he was poor, but he was rich, but became poor, that you might be rich. I got a hold of that now. I'm presenting that to you. Now, my mother thought that I lost my mind because the Lord was showing me that. And I said, okay, if that's the way you want to think and believe, I know it's of God. I know he showed me this, that Jesus made provision for me and you to be rich. And I'm not talking about rich in love and health and all that. We can believe God for our health. Some of us can't. That's why people are dying all the time from this coronavirus, because they believe that they're supposed to die. It's just their time because the coronavirus has come on them. And so they go out and get sick and die. And I'm not trying to make fun of them, but they don't know no better. When Jesus hung on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. And the Lord shows me that over and over again. This computer come to life, and I can relate to that too. Every time God shows me something new, I'm stepping into that next realm of making whatever idea or dream that he's given me to make it come about. After I've had faith and believed that he wanted it for me, and then I use my imagination to exercise that faith that he's given me, that it is so now. Faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. That's Hebrews 11:1. You need to memorize that and believe it as so. Faith in action is our confidence and our assurance. It is so even though we do not see it now. We don't see it yet, but it is so. And now we believe it until we get it in reality at this moment. And our faith is going into the future and taking what's already been provided through Jesus Christ and bringing it to the present and now. Okay, so faith is the confidence in what we hope for. So you got to have confidence in what you're hoping to happen. So you can only do that in your imagination. You've got to imagine it as so before it to happen. And the assurance of what we cannot see. So we're going to be assured that even though we can't see it, that it is so. There it is. So faith is the confidence in what we hope for, and assurance in what we do not see, assurance about what we do not see. So I want you to just think on that a little bit. You got to use your imagination to hope for it and to be assured and have the confidence that it is going to happen. In order to do that, you got to take your imagination into the future, whatever it is that you want to see done, whether that's your dream home, a Lamborghini, or just nice clothes for your kids. You got to go into the future, see it as so, examine how you got there, and come back to the present with that and make it happen. So you're going to examine solutions to problems that is preventing you at the moment from getting there, and you're going to find solutions to those problems, and you're going to work your way there, whether it be start a new business or just put $100 over into Bitcoin and watch it grow, and sit here and find another asset besides the Bitcoin to put another $100 in, which is, I believe, how the rich get richer. And I think that the poor can do that. So I want to teach that to the group. We can take the principles that the rich do, because the rich do not work. We are not under the curse as godly people to have to labor by the sweat of our brow. We have been freed from that because of what Jesus has done. He's already paid the price, that we're not under that curse anymore. Back when Adam and Eve eat the fruit, we were cursed and had to work for the sweat of our brow. Well, for some reason or another, we have been brainwashed to think we have to work a job, have to work for somebody else. A job is just over broke. Why would somebody want to do that? Just over broke's what job stands for. Speaking of Zig Ziglar, he was a great motivational speaker. I had the honor of getting to go to one of his motivational seminars, I guess is what they called it. It was in a hotel, big meeting room. And I was selling vacuum cleaners at the time, wasn't doing all that good. So I was looking for some real good meat to take home. So I took real good notes. And there's two things that he said that I've never forgotten. It I always, always, always tell people. The first one is, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. He pretty much pushed the book Think and Grow Rich, and this is where he got it. But he emphasized, if you can believe it, you shall receive it. You shall achieve it. It shall be done. If you can believe it, it is so. So you believe it, so it will be so. And another one that he would say is, find a need and meet that need, and you will be filthy rich. Now, I'm telling you, this guy, when he got on the stage, he was so full of excitement. You could not help but be excited when you got out of there, or while you were there. It's just a lot of laughter and a lot of, fun things, and everything he said, you just hang on every word. And so, I thought I'd give that introduction. He's not living now. He died back in 2012. So I was sorry to see that whenever I pulled his picture up. And I would encourage you to read that book, Think and Grow Rich. I will put some links on my website for you guys to buy those books if you want to have the hard copy. But you see things that are not as though they are. But anyways, in the vision, I can remember um, I was on my computer and I was trying to come up with a new business idea. And on my worksheet, I was putting the as they come to my mind, some titles of .com businesses that I could create and turn it into a real business. And the word any come up. So I typed down any.com and I sit there and looked at it, and I can think back now, realize God was showing me anything is possible with Him through Christ Jesus. So any business is possible through Christ Jesus. So as you get your ideas, put them down on paper, get a Google document and type it out. List those ideas and come back to them one by one and create those ideas. Oh God, this is so good. But in the survivalist uh, section, I want to cover the ideas that I have for cutting back. One example is I have a curtain. I don't know if I can get this to show that. Have a curtain on my door. Uh, I don't know if you can see it, but I close that whenever it gets cold in here. I turn the heat completely off if I'm not cold, and only turn the heat on if closing that curtain and closing the front door and keeping and holding what warmth is in here. So when it gets down below 30 is usually when I have to turn the heat on. So I'm saving power because I've learned that I don't really have to run that baseboard heat's what I have. I don't have to run it constantly. And another thing that I do to save my power is these clothes I'm wearing. They're very warm. Got them at Walmart. I don't know if you can see it, but but with warm clothes, if I get hot, I leave the warm clothes on. I don't go put something cooler on. I open the curtain or I open the front door to let some of the coolness from the outside cool it off in here, turn the heat off, and so I'm not using the power. And if I didn't need the light in here to see this computer, I would keep my light off also. But there's just not enough light in this room otherwise. But that's my, just one of my ideas of saving money by saving the power bill. But we're going to talk about all the utilities, how to cut back on all the utilities and time consuming to go into Walmart to go shopping. I got to thinking, wow, it takes me 2 or 3 hours to go shopping to get groceries, and there's got to be another way. So I'm going to show you how I'm using the Walmart app, putting my order in, and sometimes I'll do pick up, and sometimes I'll have it delivered to my front door. So this is just one of the many ideas that we can apply to our lives to cut back money, to free up money over here and move it over here into investing so that our money can go to work for us. And then since we're not working for somebody else at a job, now we can put our focus while our money is working, growing. And I have some investments to get you in that you don't have to watch them daily, because they're only going to go up no matter what. And because I'm telling you to invest only $100, it's got to be a safe haven. It's got to be something that's not going to lose your $100. So I have evaluated stocks that don't drop enough to eliminate your $100. You understand? So our money's growing for us, and now we're going to focus on what God is having us to do right now. And by doing this, We're not so confused. You just would not believe the mental stability and peace I have from cutting out TV completely, except for um, if I'm learning about the stocks and currency, or I'm praising my God. And if I can't learn something, I've always been this, even with book reading. If it wasn't a book that I could read to learn something that I was interested in, I didn't fool with it. I don't read books just to be reading books. I read to learn. I want to gain knowledge so that I can apply that knowledge, take action on it to make it come about in my life. And the same, and now that's the way I use the TV, instead of letting the TV control me and leave it running all the time and whatever's on TV, soaps, the news, or Trump's acting out again, whatever. I don't have to worry about it. It's not a distraction of what's going on about the coronavirus, because I've completely shut it out of my life. I don't want to hear that, because that's not my world. My world is right here at this computer. And I'm not affected by a virus that's running rampant in the world outside my door. I'm safe in my house. And this quarantine has been a blessing, because since I'm afraid to go out the door and go into town and have to put a mask on to be safe, I shut myself in. I stay in, and I try to find that one thing that I'm supposed to be focused on at this moment to get it accomplished. And because of all the confusion before that, I start things and I never get them completed. I have a great idea, or I have a great training video, or I have some fantastic things that I want to accomplish. And because this has got to be done, this has got to be done. Oh gosh, let me do this. So many distractions. TV, I'm wanting to see the soap operas every day at a certain time. So everything seems to be put on hold because of soap operas. Uh, if I want to take some time off now, I can, and I don't really have a desire for it. But if I wanted to catch up on the soap operas, they're streamed on for free. I got the Amazon stick, and excuse me, I only want to use it to learn, period. So hopefully you can use my group and all these trainings that I'm creating for you as your avenue to stay focused on the things that God is showing me that I needed to take action on. And now it's your turn. Take action. Apply everything that I'm going to be teaching you in this group, and apply it to your life. Do it. It's nothing but to do it. You'll hear me say that over and over again. It's nothing but to do it. And for the homeless people out there uh, running the streets, or sleeping on a park bench or under a bridge, find a library. Find somewhere where you have access to a computer. A lot of you can get that free phone from the government. Use that smartphone. Do everything that I'm teaching you in this group. Everything that I teach you can be done on the computer, can be done on the cell phone. So hopefully some of you guys are watching me on this video on a cell phone. Well, the same way you're watching me on this video on a cell phone, you can also access Google Drive, Google Documents, Google Spreadsheets, and everything Google Email. Google has so many tools that can be used to organize, and I'll be talking about that and saving time, managing time. I seen a guy on there said, and I think it was the guy that wrote Think and Grow Rich said it, that he was quoting, because a lot of his stuff that he's talking about came from him learning and studying that book. He said time cannot be managed. Well, that challenges me, because I want to see if time can be managed. And the things that God has showed me in trying to stop all the confusion is I filed folders with everything, every video I've ever created, every document I've ever created that was related to that subject is in a folder. And now I'm able to go back and use those things and finish what I started for training for you guys. And so create folders, even in the emails, create a folder for everything that you want to save. If it's related to investing, create a folder, trading or investing. If you're in real estate, have a folder specifically for real estate, and everything that comes in there, create a folder with all their emails. For example, when Redfin sends me houses and I want to go back and look at them later, I've got a folder named Redfin that I save all those because it's not time to focus on that right now. But I do want to go back and look at those houses. When somebody sends me a property to post on my website to send out to my buyers in my real estate company, then I've got a folder of the ones that have sent me properties to post, and it's in a folder in my email until I have time to put focus on posting those properties. So that's just an example. I have a folder for everything. So, but I'm kind of drawing to an end here and some ideas for this session. I just wanted to get my story out. So what I'm going to be doing in the training is we're going to be talking about time management and how we're going to talk about how we can free up time, but we're also going to talk about how we can produce more money in the time that we have available, whether it be available to our business or whatever. So we got to evaluate our time and and learn how to use that Google Calendar and write in everything from when you're going to wash the dishes and take a shower and everything, and then when you can fit in time to find another asset. That's the main thing we're going to be working on. And rinse and repeat everything that we've done on the previous. We're going to start in real estate, the first business that we'll set up. And but you'll find out what I'm talking about. Time is valuable. Once spent, it's gone. Just like money. When you spend money, you can't get it back. So once you spend your time, you can't get it back. So you need to learn to manage your time in a way that can produce an income instead of wasting it on other things. And we'll talk more about that later.